Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So this is a bit of an unexpected video, but I have bought what I believe to be the cheapest E36 M3 in the country, possibly in the world. And I'm also going to do a giveaway for hitting 1,000 subscribers this week. So thank you to all those who have watched. Anyway, let's show you the car. So there she is. That is the E36 M3 that I have purchased. She's a Boston Green 1996, I think, 96, 97, M3 Evo, completely unmolested mostly, besides these bad boy M3 badges. This is a car that I've wanted, well not this particular car, but an E36 M3. It's a car that I've wanted for a very long time. I've been looking probably on and off for, I don't know, 5-6 years. Really turned up the desire to find one this year, and missed quite a few earlier in the year. Either the price wasn't right or they just haven't been able to do a deal. But this particular car came into my ownership bizarrely, as this week I've been looking for an E46 M3 as a donor vehicle for my track saloon car. So bizarrely it sort of stumbled in my lap at a weird time, but I figured let's go and have a look at it. So yeah, here she is. So before I give you the details on the car, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away, because we hit 1,000 subs this week, I'm going to give away £100 store credit on Protezioni Auto Works, my 36 business. So let's start with the interior first. So I think this is Modena, and I'm guessing it must have had a two-tone interior because the handles are black. Obviously we've got the yellow carpet or Modena carpet. I think the seats have been swapped, so they should match the door cards. We should have this colour combo on the door cards. So that's been swapped rather unfortunately, but it is what it is. It's tired in here. All of the wood trim is well past its best. It has got a illuminated gear knob, which is pretty cool. Obviously 18 button OBC, digital climate with the aircon. Other than that, interior wise, pretty basic spec. No electric heated seats, no cruise control, no fancy stuff. So fairly bone stock and basic spec. She's a basic bitch. Headlining is sagging, which is not great, but yeah, it is what it is. So the interior is pretty cool generally. Driver's seat's got a bit of bolster wear, but other than that, you know, kind of as you'd expect from a standard car. So that's pretty cool. The car's on, oh yeah, the regulator does do that. I think the regulator on this side is past its best. Also, that may be aftermarket glass on there, because that says Pilkington, so I'm guessing that glass is not genuine. So externally, she is tired. I'll just give you a quick walk around on the bodywork. So let's start with the boot lid. Rotten here. Rotten here. The panel beneath it, rotten there. Very rotten there, which is not great. Rear bumper is generally in pretty good nick. There's a scuff on this corner. Looks like the trim is slightly damaged and there's a bit of graze into the bumper, but not too bad. Probably go again. This quarter's got a dent there. The lacquer has failed on this quarter as well. There's a whacking great dent there. The arch is not so good. We have some rust. Yeah, just E36 things, right? So that's not so good. The door, well, let's do something positive. The side skirt is in great nick, so that's one good thing. The door, no rust on this one, but we have a dent here, dent here. Yeah, so door, okay, a few dents in it. Oh no, there's more dents here, here. There's that lovely lacquer peel that you can see. Passenger mirror, good nick. The motor's working both mirrors, which is nice, but the lacquer's gone. This one's not too bad. The other one is not great. Wing, passenger wing, generally pretty good, but there's a dent here, and it had mud flaps on it, so the bottom or the front lip down here has suffered, which is not great. The bonnet is okay, but there's like 10 dents in it, some that go up, some that go down. Don't know if you'll actually see them on camera. There's a big one there, there's a whole heap of smaller ones there, you can probably just about see them. It is rust free, but it's not a great bonnet. Nose cone and bumper have been recently painted, I believe, so they're actually in pretty good nick, and it's got new arch liners in it, so the front end is generally pretty good. That's probably his party trick, you know, that's the best part of it. Onto the passenger side, we've got similar story with the wing. The wing is in okay condition, but she's a bit crispy down here. Again, that had a mud flap on it, so that's why that's happened. Side skirt again is presentable, so that's pretty good. This door again is absolutely littered with dents. One here, and we've got some rust at the bottom of the door. Not good. Although this window works lovely, so that's great. Mirror, not so good. We've got some lacquer peel. This quarter, the paint is really good. However, we have serious amounts of rot. We've got this here. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. Yeah, she's not great, and then like that's gone as well. So yeah, that's not great. So that's sort of a general overview of the bodywork, and yeah, she's tired. I mean, every single panel really, besides the bumper and the nose cone, has a serious amount of issues. I suppose the side skirts are okay. Wheels, we've got a set of 5 style 24s, but they look pretty tired. Rear tyres are brand new. Front's, the inner edge is gone on them, so you know what that means. It's going to want bushes and alignment, so that's fun, and a pair of tyres. So that's not particularly great. This car, it's got a couple of months MOT left on it. The driver's jacking point, I can literally get my fist into the jacking point. So that's obviously rotten, which isn't good. The other 3 are okay, not the best, not the worst, but you know, they're gonna need attention. So that's not good. Generally speaking, I'd say bodywork wise, like this is like a 4 out of 10 car. I mean, it's usable. Like if you're not going to be precious over it, you could jump in and use it. But if you know, want a mint one, it's just not viable. You're going to sink like 10 grand into this by the time you pay someone to do paint. And if I do all the mechanicals myself, it's going to be damn expensive. So that's just bodywork. You know, you've got to think about putting the interior right, the headline in, all the wood trims. Don't even know how you'd fix them. The external bodywork, obviously that needs a lot of attention. The wheels need a refinish. And then let me show you some other stuff. So I actually drove this home and it was terrifying, mainly because there's no brakes. That's the front disc, which literally you touch the brake and the wheel judder is insane. But I'm guessing it's been parked up, been driven in the wet, parked up, and then obviously you've got rust between the pad and the disc. That's easily fixable with a set of pad and disc, but you know, it's another cost to consider. The rears, well, I mean this needs a set of discs on the back really badly. Not sure you'll have to take my word for it, but basically it's got some dimpled and grooved discs, and they're so rotten, it's insane. So yeah, you probably unfortunately not gonna be able to see it. Oh, maybe there you go. They're so bad. So basically it needs discs and pads all round. And then on top of that, you've got the usual stuff such as the all the suspension will need doing, full alignment, bushes, and that's before we even get to the engine. So let me show you the party piece, the engine. So onto the party piece. And there she is, S50 B32. So this is the M3 Evo, 3.2 litre, supposedly 321 horsepower from the factory. They don't tend to make that on a dyno. I think they tend to make just over 300. But BMW love to inflate the figures on these particular engines, like the 3.2 variant. I must admit, my first impression when I opened the bonnet, when I went to look at it. I was like, oh no, it's a 36 with a overheating cooling system. But it turned out that this hose had split, and that's why there was coolant everywhere. He'd replaced this and all is well. And I drove it back about 60 miles and the coolant, it didn't use a drop of coolant, so that's good. But yeah, it's not, obviously it's not had any of the big jobs done. Vanos unit, bottom end bearings. It even just needs a bloody service. It hasn't been serviced for a long time. It hasn't done a lot of mileage, but it's been sat around for quite a long time. So it needs a service. We've got a split in this intake boot. The idle control valve hose is absolutely shot. You can see there, like, that's ready to fall off. But generally it drives okay. Speaking from experience, she gets through the gears quite well, but I don't think it's got all of its power. I think it's definitely down on a bit of power, but I guess it needs a service, and those intake boots, well, the intake boot and the idle control valve being split is throwing off the air fuels, because obviously you're getting probably a lean scenario on the fuel air ratio. So yeah, that needs addressing, along with like a full engine service. But that's not where it stops, so I'll start it in a second, you can hear it. But on top of that, the power steering pump is horrendously noisy, and there's no marks on the cap that says anyone has changed the fluid, power steering fluid, for a long time. You can see there's a thick layer of grime. I might get lucky and drop the fluid and put fresh fluid in it and she might go again, but probably needs a new power steering pump, which is fun. Hopefully it's not buggered the rack if the pump's been eating itself. We'll get into that in a minute. Other than that, engine wise, she seems mostly okay. The idle's a bit rough. Again, we've got air leaks, so it's not really surprising. Gearbox. So these have a 6-speed Get-Track box, a bit different to the ZF5 speeds you get on the 3 litres and the 328s. Personally, I don't like the gearbox. It feels a bit clunky. I've got the same gearbox on my 540 39, and I didn't particularly like that box either. The ZF5 speed is such a sweet box. You can bang gears in it. Really positive feel when you engage a gear. Obviously, I know all the linkage and everything on this will be Tyres. It will all need doing. What isn't helping this car is there's a problem either with the slave, or what I suspect is most likely the case, the pivot bush, which the clutch fork pivots on, is worn, because the biting point is literally like on the floor. And when that happens, you end up with a weird clutch feel. It's kind of difficult to grab gears, stuff like that. So speaking from experience, having driven cars or E36s with a worn pivot bush, it's only a little nylon plastic bush type thing, but when that wears, you get premature clutch disc wear, and the pedal just feels weird. It's hard to get gears, and this has those symptoms. So unfortunately, that's a gearbox off job. Even if the clutch disc is good, the pivot bush comes, what needs to be installed sort of inside the box. So not a fun job. But yeah, it's kind of got those symptoms. It doesn't slip or anything, it's just annoying. Also, just a side note, if you ever do a clutch on a 36, doesn't matter what one it is, and this applies to like E46s as well, change the bloody pivot bush. Don't buy Powerflex stainless steel ones or brass ones, just stick a new nylon one in. If you go on my website and you see my TTV flywheel kit that you put onto a 328, I include a pivot bush in that as stock, because every single time you change a clutch, you should be checking and ideally just replace it. It's so cheap, why wouldn't you replace it? So, I mean, this car's on 130k, so it's probably on its original clutch. It's probably due a clutch. The dual mass rattles as well, so add that to the list. But yeah, it needs a pivot bush. So yeah, great stuff. But yeah, if you're changing a clutch on 3646, make sure you change that pivot bush. It's like 10 quid from the dealer. Silly not to. And if you don't change it and then it breaks down, you're going to eat your clutch quickly. You won't be able to select gears, so bear that in mind. Anyway, that's probably engine and box summed up. So diff is good. Diff locks, can confirm, have tested that. Brakes not good, diff good. So yeah, the suspension doesn't actually feel horrendous. I mean, it's a bit wallowy because it's, you know, I'm used to driving lowered cars, so this is a bit wallowy. It doesn't feel horrendously like all over the road and stuff, but it, you know, everything's gonna be tired and a bit soggy. It doesn't feel tight or confidence inspiring. So yeah, it needs a lot bloody lot, this car. So I don't know what to do with it. As I said a moment ago, I was on the hunt for a 46 M3 for an engine donor for my 36 saloon, because that is the track car and that really would warrant an S54. Because why wouldn't you put an S54 in it? Because it's probably the best NA 6-banger that this era of cars is that you can buy and be reliable on track, and it's the fastest, easiest to get parts for, probably the most cost effective, just generally speaking. However, a spanner was thrown in the works when I acquired this car. So originally I set my hearts on an S54, but I think, being that this car has come into my possession and this car is not in good shape, the plan is I'm going to use this car for the rest of its MOT, which is just over 2 months. I suspect she's definitely going to fail her MOT, there's no doubt about that. The seals aren't great, those rear, it just needs so much work. It's going to cost you minimum 10 grand to put this right, and on a M3 convertible with this much mileage, it's not really a collector's piece. So I mean, we've got two options really. It needs a full-blown resto, which isn't cost effective. We break it now and just rip it apart, and this engine goes into the saloon, or we go sod it, let's mince about in it. So there's a couple of bits I need to do before it's usable: oil change, power steering pump, probably tyres, brakes are a bit sketchy, and then just use it until the MOT's up. If he's good and I'm not in a desperate rush to pull the engine out, we might just stick a plate over that jack and point and then continue to use it for the end of the summer. But ultimately, I think this is an engine donor for the saloon now, which is a bit of a shame, I get. Like, it's mad to think my first M3 isn't even a keeper, but ultimately it's a convertible. It needs a full-blown bloody resto. I mean, you'd sink so much money into this, and to be honest with you, in this car, obviously verts are quite heavy, you got the fact they're a bit floppy, you got the hard top, that engine is going to be so much better in a stripped out saloon. Use it as it was intended, you know, whatever. And I know some of the purists are going to be going, oh, what a shame to break a nice car. Trust me, if you laid underneath it, it's not a nice car. It's tired, it's not really had the maintenance or upkeep it's needed for the last 10 years. No disrespect at all to the previous owner, because the main thing is it's still here, and I appreciate he did me a very reasonable deal on it. We'll get to the price in a second, but ultimately this needs so much maintenance and upkeep and restoration work, it's just not viable. You may as well, for what this is going to need, you may as well go and buy a really nice vert for, say, 15 grand. I mean, top money 36 verts, like M3 Evos, are 15 grand. You can still get a good one for like 10, 12. So for what I would spend on this, and still not be happy with it, because it just needs too much, is the long and short of it. If this video segment seems a bit bizarrely chopped in, it's because I forgot to actually start it and show you a video of it running. So I'm quickly adding this in at the end of the video, but I'll drop it somewhere into the middle of the video, so apologies if the editing is a bit sketchy. But yeah, let's give her a little start up. There we go. I think the oil level sensor has failed, which is why this flashes when you first put the ignition on. I've checked the oil level and the pressure light goes straight out, so there we go. So you can hear the power steering pump. The power steering pump is really noisy, so that's going to need addressing. Exhaust wise, all bog standard. There's a bit of a blow on, I think, probably the front flexi, but they sound so good standard. Engine itself is generally pretty good. No smoke, no bangs, nothing like that. Literally no blue smoke at all. I won't rev it much because she's cold, but I'll give you a little bit of sauce. But yeah, she's a bit stumbly at cold. Obviously there's tons of vac leaks. But yeah, there we go. So that's her running. And also, if you've never seen an M3, on the clocks they have a factory built-in oil temp gauge, which is pretty cool. So you get a full-on temp gauge in the standard car, which is sick. So yeah, there we go. Right, let's get to the nitty-gritty. So how much did I pay? For this car, in this condition, that I drove home, I paid £5,600 British pounds, which I think is a very fair price. As I said, I was on the hunt for a 46 M3, which I would have spent more on probably, but because of the price of this and the fact it's plug and play in the loon, I was happy to go, you know what, I'll settle on an S50. Oh no, it's such a shame to settle on an S50. But yeah, does the trick. So that's pretty much the car. I think, as I say, need to do a few bits and bobs on it. It did drive back 65 miles without a hiccup. Didn't have to put fuel in it, to be fair. It's quite good on fuel. But yeah, she's tired. We're gonna have to do a few bits and bobs, and then I suspect I want to try and enjoy it before she gets ripped apart. But yeah, I don't want to get caught spending like 10 grand on it, because I just don't think it's the car. You know, if you followed car values during COVID over the last 5 years in the UK, you can still buy relatively good M3s for 10 to 15 grand, and a Vert is always the least desirable one, then a saloon, then obviously the coupe is the most desirable. For what you pay for a good one, there's just no point. Why would I waste like 10 grand plus a huge amount of time to make this into a good car when it's already got 133k on it or whatever it is, and there's just so much money and time to be spent. It just doesn't make any financial sense. So one day I will have a nice M3 to keep, but this is not it. But I'm going to use it, and I'm going to put the engine in the saloon at some point later this year, I'd expect. Right, so I've changed the audio on this so it doesn't match the footage, because I had a rethink on how I wanted to run the little comp I was going to do. So basically what you need to do is email me. I'll put my email on the screen. Email me with your subscriber name and then the amount that I paid for the car, and then that will get you entered into the competition. What I'll then do is, just before I upload my next video, I will pick a name at random as to or to decide the winner, and then once I've got the winner, I will announce it in that competition, and send you an email. Make sure you enter, make sure you're subbed, or reply to your email and go, thank you for watching, and I will see you very, very soon with another store credit. Peace. The competition's open to anyone. You don't have to be in the UK, you can be outside the UK, it's no problem, and you'll get £100 store credit to use on my website, on whatever you should wish.